So Apple TV 4K is finally out. I've had it for about a week now. I've tested it out a couple times and I've used a few different settings and all the other stuff that comes with it. Trying to understand to myself, is the Apple TV 4K really worth it in 2021? Since we all have smart TVs that do all the streaming and internet and Spotify and all the rest of the stuff that comes along with it. I wanted to test out to see if it is worth it. Now, straight out of the box, I didn't really notice much of a difference. The Apple TV, it has the same design that it's had for many years. It's just slightly a bit thicker, maybe a tiny bit, not much of a change. However, one thing I did notice straight out of the box is the new look control. This has been marked as the major change for the Apple TV. I'll just show you here. So we have the control here. This new control, as you can see, there's a few more buttons. There's no more touchpad. We now have a D-pad again. It's gone back to the original design, the very first one. For those that may remember or may not, I'll show you if you don't remember, is this one. This is the original Apple TV control where I had the D-pad. I can't remember if it was touch sensitive. However, this was the original one. And this is the new one. This does have a touch sensitive ring where you can scroll and scrub through different bits of content. It also is touch sensitive when you swipe up or you make certain other gestures. It does react to that as well. As you can see here, there's a few more buttons on here. So you now have a mute button, which is down here, and obviously your volume button. They've got rid of the original menu button and given it a back button. I don't know if you can see that there. And also they've given you an on and off button. You used to have to press the middle button to turn it off. Now we have our own designated on and off button. And the major change, which is not really a change because all other Apple devices have this on the right hand side. Now the remote has it too, is the Siri button. Siri button is finally on the side of the remote. So that's enough talking. Let's test it out. Let's go through the setup with our TV and test out some of the new settings. So before we get into the video, we're going to do a quick unboxing. As per usual, it's very, very minimalistic. That's one of the things that you love about Apple. There's not much in the box. So we've got the remote control, which we'll get into a little bit later on. We've got a lightning cable. Surprisingly though, it's not a USB-C connector. As per usual, we've got a little bit of paperwork. I find this paperwork quite impressive, since you guys know I'm not a big fan of paperwork, because I never read it, but this is so minimal. And we got the power cable, 3-pin power cable for the UK, obviously. But the new Apple TV is a compact set-top box, bringing to you some of your favorite shows and movies in 4K, changing your viewing experience and the way you use your Apple TV, giving you the Apple experience on a big screen. So it's powered by an A12 Bionic chip, which supports Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision. It has high frame rates running at twice the frame rate for HDR, delivering 4K with brighter, more realistic color with greater detail. And that greater detail could almost make you feel like you're in a cinema. Along with some of the newer features, some of our old favorites are still there, like AirPlay and Apple Music, turning your living room into the ultimate entertainment space. So there's a little bit of something for everybody with the Apple TV. There's gaming, there's streaming, there's music, there's even photos. Enough to keep everybody happy. So now onto the Apple TV remote. It's bigger than it previously was. It now accommodates the Siri button, which is now on the right hand side of the control. The trackpad is now being changed back to a D-pad. It does have trackpad sensors in it, where you can use motion and gestures to move around and scroll through your timeline or scroll through the different apps on the screen. A back button has now been added to replace the menu button that was previously on the control. A mute button has been added for the volume, and there's also now a designated on and off button. With that being said, it's super easy to set up. So there's a few options here. You can manually set it up, where you go through all the different options and you can individually pick out your preferences, or you can just use your phone. I opted for the easier version. I just used my phone to connect. So straight out the box, you do get your standard Apple TV apps, being Apple TV, Apple Music, Photos, Apple Arcade, Apple Fitness, and a few other different ones, as you can see here. And then obviously you have the App Store to customize it to your own requirements and add all the different apps that you'd want to add onto it. Let's take a look at a few live examples. Here's a fun fact. There's also a color balance to adjust the balance of your screen and give you the best picture that it could possibly give. This one's really cool. All you need to do is unlock your iPhone, and then the option for color balance will come up on your screen, allowing you to use the front camera to set the color balance on your Apple TV. Just like this. Just hold it in between the lines about 1 inch away from the screen, and you should see a series of colors. It's measuring So there we go. Let's have a quick look at the results and see what color balance has come up.
So once the color balance is complete, you can then see a major difference in the picture. The color's a lot sharper and a lot brighter. The water gives off a more of a greeny, bluey kind of color, which looks more true to tone. Although that's not quite the white sand of Turks and Caicos, it does have more of a true look to it, more of a deeper yellowy kind of color to the sand. And I feel like that fits just a little bit better. In comparison to the previous version, it's slightly washed out. The colors are not as sharp.
So there's also the option for Apple Fitness as well. I've never used it. I'll be interested to try it out, so we may do that in another video. Just watch this space. If you haven't seen my previous workout video, it'll be linked down below in the description. Okay, let's see if we can download something on here. Continue. Let's see. So you can download some third-party apps. You can get Disney Plus on here. You can get Prime Video, UFC Now TV. Okay. STV Player, YouTube, Netflix, NBA, WWE, Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll for all the anime fans. Let's see what games they have. Wonder if they've got School Hero on here. So there's been a number of improvements for the Apple TV remote this year. As you may have noticed, on the side of the control, the right-hand side specifically, is now the Siri button. It's now moved from the middle to the side. Very similar to some of our other Apple devices that we do have, where we have the Siri button on the right, just like the iPad and the iPhone. So I'm just gonna quickly show you how Siri works. It does pretty much Siri things. So we could just do this, we'll go, play me a song. Just like that, it opens up a song, and that song's streaming straight directly from Apple Music. Similar effect if I want to watch a movie, I could do the same thing. Okay, play me a movie. And as you see here, it pops up on the bottom of the screen a few different suggestions. So we'll go for something very quick. So it actually doesn't just suggest stuff from Apple, it also suggests stuff from Amazon. And it also suggests a few stuff from Disney also. We'll go with something from Apple quickly. We'll go for example, this Palmer. Boom. Jump straight into it. There we go. Showing in crisp 4K. So also to that, another little neat trick that I didn't know it did until earlier is if you press this little button here, boom, we've got our movie playing down here. We can continue to do other stuff around our Apple TV, so we can look for other movies that we want to watch at the same time. And if you want to go back to that, just head over to the movie that you was watching, click resume, and it pops back up onto the big screen. So there's also good news for Apple Arcade users. Apple Arcade is on the Apple TV. Just click here, boom, and it opens up the Apple Arcade menu. There's a long, wide list of games, from Lego Balls to NBA 2K to Butter Royale. Butter Royale, yeah, that's what it says. I thought I could read for a second. But yeah, there's loads of our favorite games on here for you to utilize. You can also use your next generation console control or your previous generation console control to play some of these games. For games like NBA 2K, you need to have a third-party control to play the games. So I mentioned before you could use third-party controls like your PS5 control or your Xbox next generation controls to play Apple Arcade games. But watch this. I'm gonna use my PS5 control and I can actually control the Apple TV in its entirety. So I can go to, for example, we will go to the App Store, and at this point we're just using our next generation console control. As you may have noticed, they have replaced the trackpad that was on top of this control. It's now it's just a standard D-pad, but it also is touch sensitive. So if you just look here at the bottom of the screen, you can see that if I scroll my finger around, it scrubs through the timeline. I scroll my finger backwards, it goes through the timeline. If I swipe across, we can jump across the timeline. Not only does that D-pad work on Apple TV Plus, it also works on Apple Music also.
So as is very clear to see, the Apple TV 4K has a lot of different options and a lot of good features that are handy. But are they handy in 2021? That's the question that we're really asking. Let's take a look at our final thoughts.
So my overall thoughts for the Apple TV 4K. I'm convinced At first I wasn't, I really didn't see the point, because obviously my TV can do everything that an Apple TV can do. It streams Netflix, it has Disney Plus, I can play games. You list it, my TV can do it. However, what convinced me was, I'm not even sure what convinced me, but the more I used it, the more I turned it on, and the more I kind of got used to not streaming directly from my TV and using an Apple TV box, I kind of started to like it a little bit better. I like the feel of, you know, having my phone on a massive screen. So, you know, as you saw, I connected it with my phone. I can access Apple Music at any point. I can access Apple TV at any point. And all the apps are kind of at the touch of a button, really. If I really wanted to set up my house to run with the Apple ecosystem, this would be the perfect device to do so. It connects with the HomePod. It also connects with multiple other Apple TVs, just so everything's sync and streamlined, which I think is quite handy for Apple users. I mean, Android users is probably not beneficial for them to have or use. However, for an Apple user like myself, this is massively beneficial. And I feel like that is an absolute amazing setting to have. Also to that, it's a great little tiny box that packs a punch. When I say that, I mean it like this. So those that don't have the next gen consoles, which are obviously quite big, you have the little Apple TV box, which you can play games on. You can play NBA, you can play Subway Surfer, you can play loads of different games, you know, loads of different great titles that are in the Apple Arcade, or you do download from the App Store. Now, when you download those, it gives you an option to play with your control, your next gen control, or your PS4, or your Xbox control, or a third party control, whatever it may be. And it gives you that console experience that you're possibly looking for. Okay, granted, the games are not in 4K, and they don't have ray tracing and all the other colorful stuff that our consoles have. However, it still gives you a great experience and it's a great time killer, you know, something to pass the time with, you know, play games and enjoy yourself. And the Apple TV gives you that. It's small, it's compact, and it fits into your living room. It doesn't require you to change your whole setup just to benefit having an Apple TV, or just to warrant having an Apple TV like a next generation console does. Another thing I really do like how the control works. You know, the control was very clever. I like the way that they've moved Siri, and Siri is its own standalone button now. It's no longer mixed with other buttons, or you have to hold the middle button like you did on the original Apple TV box. Siri makes a lot of difference. Siri is very smart on this one, very intelligent, especially when you're watching a program or a film or whatever it may be, and you don't quite catch what that person says. Someone else is talking, or your phone rings, or something just takes your attention, and you're able to just say, Siri, what did that person say? I think that's a great setting to have. It's a great option to have, something good, especially for people that are get really into movies, and, you know, just missing that little bit can change the whole film for you. So my overall review for the Apple TV, I'll give it a 7.5, solid 7.5. I mean, I could give it an 8. However, 7.5 is more fitting. It's fun, it's family friendly, it's easy to use, and it's compact. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of the Apple TV 4K. Do you have it? If you don't have it, would you buy it? Let me know. And if you managed to make it to the end of the video, hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, do give us a thumbs up, because it does good stuff for the channel. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.